Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Whatever time it is, welcome to another episode of Reading to Feed the Mind, a podcast focused on discussing the various aspects of books. My name is Stacey Woods, and I am your host. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reading to Feed the Mind. I am Stacey Woods, your host, and today we have a really special author with us, Shoya Bowman. Shoya is a mother, a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, Inc., and a businesswoman. She's a writer with an award-winning stage play under her belt entitled Love's Got a Hold on Me, which was based off her best-selling novel, Goodbye Don't Always Mean Gone. She's proud to have written this stage play under the direction of Christine Houston, the writer of 227, the 80s hit television sitcom. The play was a smash hit and has received several requests for its return. She has written 3 books in all and co-authored 2. She's a former blogger with the 6 Brown Chicks, a group of women in Chicago who launched on Chicago Now and later brought their daily blogs to life through discussion on WCIU.com. These women later found themselves on an episode of Iyanla Vanzant, Fix My Life, on OWN. She currently teaches classes in the literary world and arts and entertainment industry. Shoya has intertwined her love of writing with her love for beauty by launching an empowering cosmetic line called Dip Lips and Tips Cosmetics. Here, she encourages women to look and feel beautiful and stay encouraged to follow your dreams. She's been featured on several media outlets such as Essence.com, WCIU, WVON, the Black Women's Expo, Rolling Out Magazine, Indigo newspaper, and the Chicago Tribune. She's a 2-time Peach Theater Award recipient for literary education and Up and Coming Playwright Award. Winner of awards at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival in 2012, and so much more. We are truly, truly honored today to have Shoya Bowman joining us. And here's Shoya. Yay! Hey, Shoya, how you doing? Hey, Shoya, how are you?
I'm fine.
All right, I am so glad that we have finally connected, and I get to have you on my podcast. It means a lot. It means a lot. Yay! All right, so I read your wonderful long bio.
I know, it is long, isn't it?
But when you've done a lot, it's going to be long. So that's truly, truly a blessing.
Yes.
So we met several years ago, when you first came to Atlanta.
Yes.
Through our mutual friend, Tawana. Hey, Tawana.
Hey.
And you were writing plays, and, I was like, what? Plays? So,
right.
We made our connection because
exactly.
I do enjoy going, and I did a few in high school, and then I did a community play for several years. So I like that whole.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know. I love the arts.
Yes. So I will turn it over to you. I guess what we're talking about today, but we're talking about your latest book today, Behind the Front Desk. And I'll put a picture up.
Yes. I'm so excited. Behind the Front Desk.
Yes, Behind the Front Desk.
Get your copies.
Yes.
So basically, a little bit about the book. Is that what you want to know?
Yeah, and although I read your bio, if you want to share a little bit more about, what
who I am and what I.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So basically, I started writing back in 2003. I started with short stories and poems, and I found poetry to be a way of releasing pent-up anxiety from failed relationships that I was dealing with. So I wrote my first poem called Mr. Wrong. And I let a couple of my coworkers read it at the time. They really liked it. And then, they kind of persuaded me to go on and on and on. So then I started writing short stories. And then I developed 2 characters, Stacy and Justin, and people wanted more. They were in a tumultuous relationship, very, he was domineering and became abusive. So I started writing about domestic violence. So that's kind of my plight, to how to share with women the pitfalls and some red flags and things like that of dealing with abusive or controlling men or women. It can go both ways, but my target is usually about guys, because I write about my experiences.
Okay.
So after that, I just kind of went into my second book, which is Goodbye Don't Always Mean Gone. And I have it right here.
All
and
right.
This one is that's the one that kind of took off. It just skyrocketed, and I wrote a stage play under the direction of Christine Houston, who wrote the 80s sitcom 227. She took me in under her wings and showed me everything that she knew, or taught me about playwriting. I couldn't figure out how would I engage the audience by putting these characters on stage and have people just engulfed in the story. So she kind of showed me everything and how to do that and things like that. So Love's Got a Hold on Me was a hit stage play back in 2012, and it won awards at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. It was a hit in Chicago, where I'm from. And so everybody loves that play and wants more. They still talk about it, send me clips about it, and be like, when are you going to put it on again? And I'm like,
I think that was the one that I went to.
Yeah, I had it. It was at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival in 2012. But I didn't meet you until 2015.
Okay.
So I met you soon as I got here. So
and then shortly after, didn't you were in another one? So I did.
That was called Baby Blue. So I wrote Baby Blue for the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, and that one was awesome too.
Yes, it was.
That one was dealing with teen domestic violence. So you went to that one. So yeah, it was awesome. So basically after that, I wrote Society Says, which is a sequel to Goodbye Don't Always Mean Gone. And then here I am with Behind the Front Desk. So I'm excited. It's a murder mystery, something different. And I wanted to basically just have it more of an interactive book. So I wanted the audience. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, I could have wrote that ending, or they read a book or watch a movie. Oh, I could have wrote that. And so I was like, I'm going to give the audience a chance to tell me who they think did the murder, it's a murder mystery, or what ending they chose thought was the best. So I give them 3 scenarios and let them choose what they think is the best ending. So that's where we are today. So I've done it all. I've taught people how to self-publish. I've produced stage plays. So I feel like I've done a lot and had a lot of success in the literary art world. And that was one of the reasons why I came to Georgia, is to continue to pursue my field of writing, my success in writing. So I'm just getting out there. I still feel like I'm kind of new here, but I'm not. So I feel good that I'm able to write again, because I always say, if you're not mentally in a good mental space and place, you can't write. So it took me a while to get there again, because once you stop, it's hard to start back up. So now that I've started back up, it's just no stopping me now. So I'm excited.
Right. Well, so I have a couple of questions. I'm like, where do I want to start? I'm going to start doing this in my interviews, especially because so many of us are self-published now. And so tell me, you don't have to go in real deep, but tell me just a little bit about your writing, because I think you say you started kind of writing in
2003.
2003.
So it's been a while.
Yes, but that was, how you hear people always say, I've been writing all my life and I wrote. Were you that person and you just started in 2003, or did you literally pick up in 2003?
I picked up in 2003. I always liked writing, but I was never considered a writer. So I just, one day just decided, you know what, I'm a release some of this anxiety that I'm having with dealing with these failed relationships. And I just started writing all of a sudden. And then you know how people encourage you, either they like it or they don't. You know, my writing is not for everybody, but the fan base that I have, you know, they actually love what I write. So I just kind of started there and just expound from there. And sometimes we sit there and we wait on the traditional publishing house to, you know, publish us, and you may wait 6 months to a year or never respond to you unless you have a good agent. And getting a good agent is hard to find. So I'm like, why am I letting someone else hold my destiny in the palm of their hands, and I can make my own dreams come true? So there's a lot of benefits to it. Of course, you own your rights to everything. And if you're like me, you're a little bit of a control freak. So you want to have total control of royalties, how it's marketed, how it's you know, put out in the world, everything. So I enjoy self-publishing.
Did you go through Amazon to publish yours?
No, I do everything kind of from scratch. So I get my own ISBN number, copyright, get an editor. And editing is key. A lot of people try to tiptoe around that. You got to get a good editor and find a publisher that will publish small runs. So usually I have one publishing house or printing company that I use, and they do small book runs. I have certain people that I use for my book covers. So I just kind of, you know.
And it is doable. I was the same with my book. But I did all of that. You know, I got my ISBN, same thing, but you know, Amazon, because when they carry you, I think they can carry it other ways, but I just went through theirs. And so I think with Amazon, they print up a certain amount, and then I guess they keep some for when you're getting the orders on Amazon. So that's what I meant when I was saying. So it's not so much, they don't do your editing, they don't do any of that.
No.
You
just sell it on Amazon.
And
I used to sell on Amazon through ebook, but now I just do everything myself. It's all on my website.
Okay.
I like to have total control of that.
Okay. All right. Well, that is good. It is a lot of work. It really is.
It really is.
So now let's get back to your writing. How do you develop your characters? How do your characters come about?
My characters usually come about, some of them are either my muse or well, if I develop a character, it's usually from something that I've seen, heard, wanted to be, experienced. So I kind of just expand on the person from that. Like for me, let's just say Monique in my book, the last one. Monique works at a property management company, and she's a leasing consultant. Of course, I was as well at one time.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
But I usually add to it or take from it. So I usually take a little piece of my life, and then I just, you know, run with it. Now, Marcus, or Blunt, as he's called in the book, he was totally made up. I didn't know anybody who had ever went to jail or, you know, the different things that he does. I didn't know anyone. So I had to go on just pure imagination.
And things you've seen on TV.
I just let my imagination, and then I do a little bit of research on a character, on, you know, things that I want to learn about. If I want to learn about the street game or you know, drugs and how they do that, and you know, that whole kind of thing, or prison reform and like that. So I do a little research.
Yes,
a lot of research, especially if I bring in, let's just say I bring in a wine from Brazil. I have to research that.
And you really do. You really do, because going back to the whole self-publishing, I know I went through a period when I was really. So when I first found out about self-publishing, it was through Elin Harris. And that was back circa like 1993, 94, 92, actually.
Okay.
No, 92, 93, somewhere in there. And
Okay.
so his was the first self-published book I had ever heard, because at that point, you know, I was reading more of the Toni Morrisons, J. California Cooper, Terry McMillan, who were all with publishing companies. So I was like, what? You can publish your own book? And I still have his first copy. I'm so happy I still have it. Invisible Life, I think it was. And so anyway, that's when I first started hearing about it. So then of course, as years go on, you know, and you start hearing more people self-publish, and I love supporting people in the things that they're doing in life. So I would buy people's book. Oh, great. And I love to read. Books is my thing. And I started reading the book. You pay your little $10, $15 for a book and get it signed, feeling good you supported someone.
Right.
And then I would come home and I would start reading, and it was like, oh my goodness, you can't, publish this. But because Amazon, all you have to do is upload your file and your graphics and stuff, and they just print in books. So I actually started trying to edit, and I would tell people, look, I am not an official editor. I have read a lot of books, and what I did, I bought a book, the first 5 pages. And in that book, they talk about the first 5 pages of your book and what editors look for. It was written by an editor. It was really good. So I use those. I would use that as a guide, because then by this time I had started writing my book, and I used it as a guide. I have
your book too.
Yeah. And I would use it as a guide just to help other people. And I always said, I'm not trying to change your words. I'm just trying to make sure that the story that you're writing comes together, because so many people were writing and they were saying one thing in this chapter, then they'd say something else in that chapter. And I was like, okay, so I probably edited about 4 or 5 books for people. Okay. And then I went back to work. So I kind of slowed down on it. But definitely you need an editor. Somebody.
You cannot get around it. And a good one at that. It's just.
And a good one. Yeah.
No way around it.
Yep. Nowhere.
I've tried it both ways and it just doesn't work.
Now, what I thought was interesting about Behind the Front Desk was the whole setting of a leasing office. Because I'm like, wow, I would never think. People work in the leasing office, but you just like.
You never think that much drama goes on behind the front desk.
You don't think about it. All you think is this somebody behind the desk taking my applications and gonna tell me whether I can get this apartment. You don't think about the dynamics. So now you look at it differently.
And I guess, and what's relatable is that it's with every job. Like you don't know what's really going on behind the scenes of these jobs. So yeah, that's just a little insight of Carrington, Cove.
I was like, wow. And then, because it's based in Atlanta, I was like.
You know some of the places.
I was like, I wonder what apartments these are, really.
I'll never tell.
And then that leasing agent, the property manager, I'm like, she was cold-blooded. Anybody could, she was really cold-blooded. And I'm trying to hold a lot of my thoughts, because I know
And the funny thing is, she's a lot of people's managers that are just so cold and curt with you that you're like, well, damn.
I've been blessed. I've never had to work for anybody like that. Yeah. So I've been blessed. Blessed because I probably, you know what? I take that back. I did work for this guy because I had to just straight out tell him, I was like, Mama,
I'm not your child.
My daddy dead.
Exactly.
So I don't know who or what you think you are. And I didn't stay long. I could not have stayed long working for somebody like that.
It could be very traumatic. And a lot of people stay because they need their jobs, but
but I always have faith.
It's not even worth it with the peace of mind. Peace of mind is hard to get back.
Okay. And I have always been in faith. It's something else out here.
Exactly.
So I don't have to, I know we have to do what we have to do, but I'm not going to stay anywhere where I'm miserable. I'm
Oh
just
God.
not going to do
And
it.
it's a lot of people that do have to do it. Unfortunately, that's their livelihood. But
Yeah.
I guess it's all in how you deal with it.
I can't
But
wait.
my main thing, and I wanted people to take from it, no matter if you're using a job as a stepping stone to get to the next level, just remain focused on your ultimate goal. And
Your
just
plan
know
A.
this is only temporary. So
Yeah.
if they could take nothing else from that book, just know. Because really, both of the characters had an ultimate goal in life. They wanted to better themselves. They just had different ways of going about it.
And I know this was a kind of like a short story, a novella. So
Yes.
do you think you will expand on it some more?
As I'm getting feedback, I'm probably will. I probably will.
I can see you building it out, because I want to see, because you get little hints that I'm bad with names with characters.
Marcus or Blunt or Monique.
The manager, the property manager.
Geraldine.
I'm sorry. I'm bad. TV and everything. I've been watching Grey's Anatomy for years.
And still get the names wrong.
At the beginning. Ask me to start naming the characters. I'm like, and I don't know why, but I can tell you everything about it. But holding on to the character names. But anyway, Geraldine. So you get little hints that is something in her personal life that's not right.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why she's so evil.
And usually a lot stems from childhood. Unfortunately, we don't want to face it, but it's something we did not deal with in childhood. Or it could be an abusive mate, things like that. She was in a situation where she was working and she had a man at home waiting on her to bring home her paycheck stuff, her paycheck.
And it's those usually be the ones. Think they all that, then they got a sorry man at home.
No offense to you men out there. I'm not saying all of them. But
no.
Right.
A lot of times, you either don't have any or what you got ain't good. So you take it out on everybody else.
True.
But anyway, so you are thinking of maybe expounding on this book.
It's possible. I haven't given it that much thought because I really want to lean on putting it on stage.
Okay. That would be good. I can see that. I can definitely see it. I can see it as a stage play. And I can act a little.
I know. I know. And sing.
If you want to make it a musical. So what we're going to do in a few minutes, because we're wrapping up this interview part, and I haven't really tried to dive deep into the book because I know
we don't want to give it away.
Yeah, you don't want to give it away. And then I know we have guests coming on that's going to be able to share some of their experiences with the book. So I don't want to, tire people out too much. I want to get to the real good part. This was an interview where we get the chance to meet you and to know you a little bit better. And then I find that when you can meet the author and hear a little bit about their background and what drives them, that kind of connects you to the book.
Exactly.
A little closer as well, because you get a chance to see a personality. Just like Terry McMillan. I follow her on Twitter, and she just has a new book that's come out. And it's just like, every day almost she popping off something on Twitter.
Is she? I'm going to have to follow her. I think I heard about it. If it was Mr. or something like that. I'm not sure. And maybe it was somebody else.
Not all downhill from here.
Okay.
Something like that. And I started it. I got excited, and I started it on Audible and ordered it. So while I was waiting for it to come, I was listening on Audible. And now that I have my heart back, I haven't picked it back up because I want to sit down and finish.
Okay.
People like Terry, you want to hold her book. Right?
Yeah.
And I just got to make time to do that. But it's a good story. It's a good story.
Okay.
But I think when you know the sassiness of a Terry McMillan, to me, that's just like, okay, because I can see where she's going. You almost hear her reading. You hear her talking.
Exactly.
And everything. So,
exactly.
All right, Shoya. So what we'll do is what's your next steps and how can people reach you? That's what I want.
Okay. So, like I said, my next steps is to, I got a couple of things going on, but I know one of them is I'm thinking about turning this book into a stage play. So Behind the Front Desk, turn that into a stage play. And then I also want to bring Love's Got a Hold on Me back to, back to Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been here with that play since 2012. And a lot of people are asking about it. So I think I'm going to do it. Maybe, once this whole, quarantine thing is over, put like a standstill for a lot of things that I want to do. And then, but how you can get the book is you can log onto my website, ShoyaBowman.com. So that's SHOYA Bowman, BOWMAN.com. So I have three of my books online. So definitely do that. And that's it. I also have an ebook and hard copy, so we can mail it to you, or you can sit there and read it online in the pleasure of your home and drink some wine and enjoy the ride, because that's what it is.
It's a ride. Yes, it is. All right. So all of this information will be listed below on YouTube. And then for the podcast, the audio, if you're listening on to the Audible podcast, I will have it posted along with the description. So you'll have all of her contact information with that. So we're going to take a break because we're going to be bringing some other people in.
I can't wait. Yeah.
And we're going to really crank it up, discussing Behind the Front Desk.
Yes. Where the real drama unfolds.
Yes. Okay, so we are back. We have Vanessa and Robin with us, and now we're going to get a little deeper discussion of the book. Get a chance to get everyone's views and thoughts. So Shoya, I'll turn this part over to you to lead.
So we're going to talk about Behind the Front Desk, and basically, I started writing the book in 2017 when I first got to Georgia. I got to Georgia in 2015, so I started writing the book and finishing it in 2017, and I couldn't really get my mind around writing because I was still broken from my whole transition from one state to another. So I had to kind of get my mind right, and once I got my mind right, I could write about it. So I had some experiences here in Georgia with working for apartment complexes down here, which I thought would be different, but it was totally, it totally blew my mind. Let's just say that. So I had enough material from dealing with the people down in Georgia because I think I was under the misconception that when I come to the South, it was gonna be a whole different kind of vibe, like really peaceful. Like I was excited about seeing Black women in power positions. But then I started seeing these Black women in power positions who misuse and abuse their positions. And I couldn't believe it. And, I'm not, not to down, the educational level just was not there. And I couldn't understand how these people got in these positions in the first place. And then why did I run into them? And maybe I ran into them so I could do this. So basically the book is a learning lesson, of course, about if my audience doesn't take anything from this, I want them to take away focusing on your passion, your dreams, and your goals in life, and not letting your current circumstance, deter you. So everybody, sometimes you have to work a job that you don't necessarily like. So basically, Behind the Front Desk was born from that. And then I wanted to make it interactive. So I had been hearing for years people saying, "Oh, I read this book and I could have wrote that ending," or "I saw this movie, I could have did that," or So I decided, okay, let me give the audience a chance. Since you all are so good at picking endings and writing endings, let's see where your creative mojo is. So instead of having people write their own, which I was going to originally do, I decided I'll write the endings. So I'll write 3 endings and let the audience choose which scenario that they thought was the best ending for the story. So what it is, it's a murder mystery, a novella. So it's a short story, but it delves into this murder mystery on this complex, at this complex. So sometimes, you never know what you're getting into, what kind of job you're getting into until you you agree or sign the, your acceptance, or just tell them, yeah, I'll take the job. And you're just taking it because you're looking at it at face value and it looks so beautiful, because a lot of the complexes in the South are beautiful. So you get caught up in that. But then you realize that it's some underhanded, dirty stuff going on behind the scenes. And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying my experience, and I'm using also my creativity to branch out. And that's where Behind the Front Desk came about. So I want to know your opinions. And I heard from both of you all already, but I want to put it out there for the public. So, Ms. Robin.
Child. To call this a page turner is really, I mean, it's an understatement. It's like it's a page burner. It's past the page turner. Because with each page, it was like, what is she? Shoya, wait a minute. Like, what's going to happen on the next page? I didn't start as early as I wanted to start, but then once I did, a whole lot of stuff got put to the side for me to finish it, because I was trying to finish it for last week's discussion, but I didn't want to put it down anyway. So
good.
But to see those characters, they went from just people on the page that were being described to, I got a cousin just like Blunt. I got it, cousin just like Monique. She always on the go. She's always trying to do something, trying to come up. Like, ooh, man, I know that Geraldine. We call it Geraldine? Geraldine or Geraldine? She's a Geraldine.
She's a Geraldine.
Yeah. That's that mean auntie on the block. Ain't nobody stand. She's just mean because she's miserable. She got all kind of failed issues in her past, and she take it out on everybody. That's the one you gotta apologize for. Anytime you bring somebody around your family, that's for Auntie Geraldine. She be tripping. You gotta excuse her.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they went for me. They went from being described on the paper to actually so relatable that I could identify either relatives or friends or coworkers who actually matched the people in the book.
Okay. That's real. Vanessa.
Well, it was really funny. Parts of it was funny because we had a discussion as you were writing this book about the situations at where you were working. And so when I started reading the book, I said, I remember Shoya talking about that. I said, oh, wow. I said, this stuff is really happening. But you really, just from the outside looking in, when you go into these offices, you don't see any of that. I mean, you'll see, I lived in one of these apartments down here before I got into a house, but you can tell the tension between the employees and the management. You could kind of see it. So I was able to relate what you wrote about from just the things that I saw just going in the office to get a piece of mail. So, and right, I got a nephew like Blunt. And the mean lady, oh my God, I've had employers like that.
I know.
Women who just, and I've seen a lot of that here too. It was a surprise to me. I expected the school system to be, like you said, to be a little different when we got down south. I was like, oh, this is down south. Baby, some of these chicks down here got a little power. Oh my God, it's just how they handle it. And
it's unreal.
I mean, I got the same education as you, and you talking to me like that, and see, we from Chicago, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. But they kind of suck it up and take it, and I just, okay, all right, that's you. But you can see a lot of that in this book. So a lot of this is like real life. This is just, even though it came out of your head, this is some real stuff.
Yeah.
See it all the time.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Blunt was totally made up. I don't even know a Blunt. I know people who smoke weed all day. I know people who have been to jail, but I didn't know, I never really delved into their lives like that. You hear bits and pieces. And like I was telling Stacy earlier during our interview, I had to do some research because I'm like, on the prison system, on how they do their drugs and, how the street game works a little bit. So I had to do a little bit of research, ask certain people, how it goes. And things like that. So I had to kind of piece things together, but I already knew he was gonna be one of them,
And Shoya, the sex scenes in this book, I was like, okay, well, where her man at?
in the gutter.
I was like, oh my God, I need to put my shades on to read this.
Right.
Like, oh,
Yeah. It's not a church book. Let's just
Get another glass of wine.
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
get you some wine.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm from Atlanta.
Stacy,
I'm from Atlanta. So, and I always get so tickled when people from up north or wherever come in. It's like, well, I thought the South was like, and I thought the South, and I was like, it was until y'all came, because a lot of people in these positions aren't from here. They're not from here. You know, so we get the tag, but these are not, you're not dealing with a true Atlantan. Now, are we perfect? No. Do we have issues? Yeah. But most of the people, I did have, Shoya earlier, I said I didn't have anybody. I've never had a female manager like that acted like Geraldine, but I've had some some really bad, some managers. And it is true. And I'll tell this story real quick. I had graduated college, had worked a little bit, and then I left my job at Turner and I started working at other places. And then I got a chance to work at MARTA. And I was so excited because, here MARTA is primarily ran, it's ran by a lot of African-American people. So I'm walking in, and like you said, you look at all these people on all these different levels and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when you start working with them, you're like, really? So I didn't have that personality. And I was contracting with MARTA at the time, and that was like 98 or so. And I didn't have Geraldine's personality, but I witnessed so much low down stuff. When I left MARTA, I didn't like Black women. I was like, nope. And I promise you, it has not gotten a whole lot better. I prefer to work for a man, white, Black, or the other. A man has always been a better manager for me than a woman.
And that's how I feel.
And the color, it doesn't even matter the skin color, because I think some of us, not all of us, some of us have issues as our ranks get higher because we feel a pressure. It's a pressure that's felt that you got to meet this, you got to be as good. And I guess I see it too. I'm in my industry is more male dominated. So the experience I have with women managers is you trying to be like the man. It's like, just be yourself.
Yourself.
It's a lot of pressure that goes on. But
I didn't go into this, but I should have. Because another thing that I learned about the people in the South, the women in the South, they go on this this spirit thing. She just don't rub my spirit right. They been on the spirit down here. I'll be like, what is spirit thing?
Yeah.
What in the hell?
Yes, I heard that about Shoya too at the school I worked at. She just in my spirit.
You be like, well, what happened? I just don't know. She just didn't rub my spirit right.
And those
I'm
used
like,
to be
okay,
raisers themselves.
Right. Yeah.
But I laugh though, because I think I've said that a couple of times. But it's a vibe. It's really a vibe that you get. It's just like, see, I already feel that. It's
right.
Like this feel this energy.
No, I get it, because there's certain people that I don't really like, but I be like, it's more than the spirit. I don't like her stank ass attitude, but be like, this spirit, like.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'll say energy over spirit, though.
Yeah. The energy, the spirit, the vibe, all of that. But, yeah. And I think they use that to keep you down, like not let you advance, because your spirit just, and your vibe and your energy is just not right.
Right.
And more than anything, they're just not people that's really secure in who they are. Because if you're secure in who you are and you're a manager or a supervisor, how you gonna let somebody that's under you intimidate you like that?
Mhm.
Exactly.
But you got to know who you are and be
Right.
okay with this person might know more than you, and maybe one day they'll advance past you, but you can't block that if you're good with who you are. So, but I love the way you put the story together, and I really love
It's well written.
ending. So I know that we're now going to get into which ending we all chose.
Yeah, because I'm curious to know.
So I'm going to stop recording because we don't want to give it away.
Okay.
So I'll stop recording and then we can really talk. So until then, y'all keep reading to Feed Your Mind. Bye.